What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I don't see a bunch of people talking about this, but it was said that Turkey Al-Sheikh did 40,000 pay-per-view buys, but it did 340,000 pay-per-view buys, or BETERBIEV versus DMITRY BIVOL, universally. So, if it did internationally 340,000 pay-per-view buys, the event was in Saudi Arabia, then why would you not count that it did 340,000 pay-per-view buys? Why are they trying to tell you that it only did 40,000 domestic pay-per-view buys? The fight took place in Saudi Arabia. Boxing is an international sport. You have multiple world champions that are not from the US. Boxing started in the United Kingdom. So therefore, it's an international sport. But because America is a bully on the block, everything has to be based off of the numbers in America. If it's not good numbers in America, then it don't count. What? So it did 340,000 pay-per-view buys. That's more than 250,000 pay-per-view buys. That's more than Tank Davis and ROACH fight. Now, you're going to have some people tell you Tank Davis and ROACH did 260,000 pay-per-view buys. Is that universal? Is that universal? Is that international? Is that domestic? Did they give you the details? Was that domestic numbers solely? Right? But at the end of the day, as I told you guys before, Turkey Al-Sheikh is not doing this for monetary gain. That's not what he's in it for. But suddenly, now the numbers come out that it did 340,000 pay-per-view buys. Now we concerned, well, yeah, but that was international. That wasn't domestic. The fight didn't take place on US soil, so why would it be domestic? Why would they care if the fight domestic, with the numbers it did? The fight was in Saudi Arabia. $6,500 miles away. So why would they care about domestic numbers? That's like saying, yeah, man, Floyd did those numbers 1.5 or 2.4 or 4.4 million with Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, but here in Saudi Arabia, it only did 40,000, so it wasn't successful. What? You see how silly this sounds? Alexander Usyk from the Ukraine. Lomachenko from the Ukraine. Monster Inoue, Japan. Tyson Fury, United Kingdom. Daniel Dubois, United Kingdom. Batran Mataliev, foreign fighter. Tim Tszyu, Australia. These are world champions, people. And they're not from US soil. And they scattered around. It's international sport. That's why winning the Olympics is important. It's a big deal because it's your country versus their country in an international sport. right? The NFL is not in the Olympics because it's not a universal sport. It's a domestic sport. Soccer is a big deal outside the United States of America. Boxing, Olympic gold medals, they're important. Why? Because that means you competed with the rest of the world and you were successful. You competed against the rest of the world in your division and you was the best at it. It is a domestic, it's not a domestic sport. It is an international sport, people. So the numbers doing 340,000 international is solid. It's not a big deal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's solid. For two fighters who are not pay-per-view superstars in Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Two Russian fighters, might I add. Two Russian fighters, and one is by way of Canada. One is by way of Canada. Stop letting these folios talk to you. BIVOL and BETERBIEV wasn't successful on pay-per-view. Two Russian fighters. Americans complain about two Russian fighters fighting in Saudi Arabia. What? And on top of that, two guys that have never been superstars as far as being a major draws go. Whoever said Dmitry Bivol or Artur Beterbiev was some pay-per-view superstars? When and where? The only pay-per-view between the two outside of their fight together was Bivol fighting Canelo Alvarez. That's it, that's all. So y'all just sound silly when people say it wasn't a success. Why would it be a success on pay-per-view? With two Russian fighters they are superstars within the sport, but they're not crossover pay-per-view superstars. So they did very well to be foreign fighters fighting in, and you had two Russian fighters fighting in Saudi Arabia. Make it make sense, man. That's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.